Hi, I'm Dave. I'm a commercial agent in the Northern Virginia area, and in just a few minutes, I'm going to tell you 5 real-world things to look out for when you're about ready to sign a commercial lease. So stay tuned. Hi, my name's David Caminga. I'm a commercial agent in the Northern Virginia area, and I thought that I would shoot this video in order for me to share with you some of the things that I've seen when it comes to commercial leases. So this is just my opinion on, kind of a few of the many things that you need to be aware of when and before you sign a commercial lease. So my experience is I've been dealing in an area in which there's a lot of competition for the places, so my tips to you will take that into account. So, I'm assuming that you're in an area where there's potentially a lot of other renters that might want your spot. So, number one, I would say that you need to look for is you need to figure out how much your neighbors of the space that you have found have rented it for. It's kind of important to see what the landlord's doing. Are you paying under or over what the asking rate is? Keep in mind though, if you sit there and someone's offering you a spot at $20 a square foot and you find out the spot next to you was rented at $25 a square foot, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're getting a great deal. You don't know all the conditions and all the situations of that lease. It's possible that the landlord threw in some money to help with their build out. When a landlord does that, that's called TI, or tenant incentives. So once you get a kind of a good idea of what the neighborhood is renting for, your immediate neighborhood, I'd kind of go out a little bit, maybe 3 miles, 5 miles, and just kind of see what the rate, the rental rate is. Keep in mind, location, right? So you might find that the price per square foot goes up quite a bit if a unit is closer to a heavily trafficked road. So just kind of get a rough idea of what your neighbors are paying. So your agent should be able to help you out for that, or you can go online, kind of see if there's some historic data to look at. So number 2 is, I've seen some agents say you should always ask for TI, tenant incentives, but keep in mind when you ask for TI, you know what the landlord's going to do? He's going to bump up your rent. And a lot of people don't really realize that. I deal with a lot of landlords, and they don't necessarily want to invest money in your business operation. So, but if you have to have some money to open up your doors, make sure that you have a good business plan. Make sure you have some good proof of funds to show ownership that the money that they give you, you're just not going to waste it. You're not going to go out of business. So don't always ask for TI. My recommendation is to try to close a deal without TI, because depending upon how the lease is written, you might end up paying for those improvements for the first 3 years, and you'll find that you're there for 10 years, and the landlord doesn't necessarily want to lower the rental rate any. So that initial expense that you could have paid off by now, kind of follows you through the duration of the lease. So number 3, and I'm always surprised how many people do not ask for this, it's a non-compete. This means that if you're doing retail, this is mainly a retail thing. If you're doing retail and you go into a center, you want your agent in your offer letter to put that you're going to be the exclusive business there that's offering that service. What happens if you're selling shoes and a year later they put another shoe business in there, maybe one that's a little bit better, and then you're going to end up finding that your sales really hurt. Most landlords, they don't necessarily want to put one of their own tenants out of business, but I've kind of seen this. I've seen it where they've put competing businesses, in next to each other, and it does no one any good. So ask your agent to put a non-compete in your lease and see if ownership would consider that. So the next thing I would ask for is what's called a study period. This is what's a little bit different when it comes to residential versus commercial leases. A study period essentially is where you've you've come to terms on the financial aspects of your lease, but you still need 2 to 4 weeks where you kind of research it a little bit. This can be used for warehouses and offices and retail spaces. A study period is where maybe, if you're with a franchise will do a little bit of research on that area. It still gives you a little bit of time to kind of look around to see if you can find a better deal. It also allows you to bring in some architects and some construction guys if you have some build out to do in there. So keep in mind, a study period enables you to back out of a non-binding agreement, but it also allows the ownership to back out of the agreement too. If you want to lock the ownership in to certain terms, they're probably going to ask for a security deposit, or they're going to ask for you to pay their holding cost. And when I say holding costs, maybe it's condo fees and it's taxes and it's insurance. So study periods are your friend. If it's a hot area, they probably won't allow you to put it into a study period for a long time. But you should be able to get 2 to 4 weeks in most situations. So number 5, and this is what I consider the most important thing when it comes to commercial real estate leases, is go with a commercial agent. I can't tell you how many times I've seen, folks come in with residential agents, and I'm representing the landlord. And these residential agents, the only thing they know what to ask for is essentially their commission. That's the first thing they always hit me with, is how much does this pay? And a lot of these agents don't know a lot of the terminologies. They don't know really what's going on in the commercial world, maybe in that section of the city. So it can cost you thousands of dollars if you hire a residential agent who happens to be a friend down the street, and he sits there and says, "Oh, sure, I can help you. It's easy." Well, guess what? He might have cost you a lot of money by not asking for an abatement period, or not asking for study periods, or some of these typical things, not knowing what the zoning is. So you have to be really, really careful when it comes to who is representing you. You as the tenant, it doesn't cost you anything to bring an agent in, but just make sure you bring someone that is smart and savvy in the commercial real estate world. I've had deals fall apart, and the potential renter doesn't even know this, because the first thing the agent says is, "I want double the commission that normal commercial agents get." And I don't know why I've seen this trend that residential agents are demanding a lot more money than standard commercial agents. It might be a way that these residential companies are teaching these agents and to deal with commercial transactions. But when I sit there and I tell the other agent, well, this deal does not pay the commission that you're asking for, you have to get that from your client. A lot of times those deals fall apart, and in the back of my mind, I think that it was never presented to the client as a viable option for them, even though the space might have been great, because the agent was all upset that they didn't make a big payday on that deal. So commercial agents are very important in a commercial transaction. So anyway, I thought I'd share with you some of my experience. Again, I do this every week. I do commercial leases every week. So just thought I'd share with you. Please subscribe to my channel. What I'm going to do is kind of bring you some tips that I deal with to help in your commercial transactions. I'm also going to bring you potential investment deals as they come about. So if I see a good deal, I'm going to post it. up there. I'll try to get a video of it, and they're not going to be my properties, not all of them. I am okay in promoting other people's properties, especially if it's a good deal. So make sure you click that bell when you click subscribe, and if you're an investor, if I have a good opportunity, and I've posted a few good ones that I know that if I was in the right spot that I would jump on, you don't want to be late to the game. So feel free to submit some comments if you have any questions, or if you would like me to talk about something, please let me know. And again, thank you for watching. My name is David Kamminga, and I'll be talking to you soon.